Somewhere between the edge of being alive and feeling dead.
Once upon a time, there was a guy minding his own business, going on a hike, enjoying the waterfalls, checking out the glaciers and creeks flowing from them, hiking with his buddy way out in these canyons, and just loving the backcountry. Well, that guy received a text message to let him know that something happened to his Tesla Model 3. This message came through and he had to deal with it. And that's what this video is all about. My experience with my Tesla Model 3. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we are dealing with replacing my frunk on my 2020 Tesla Model 3 all-wheel drive. And as you saw from the previous intro information there, basically I was out in the backcountry trip, on a multi-day trip, and unfortunately we had someone back into the car, had their motorcycle on there and the ramp was down. They didn't know accidents happen. And really this video is about how to deal with service problems when you live far away from a service center. In this case should have been a really simple thing to deal with, and that is just get a new frunk hood. Just get that part, take the old one off, put the new one on, get it painted, all that kind of thing. And you know, you'd think something like that, maybe 2 weeks to 4 weeks. But it took a lot longer than that. It's not all because of Tesla. There's a number of factors here. But I definitely feel that it took longer because of where I live and because of the problems that we face here. So let's take a look at what happened, and hopefully with that introduction we can proceed. Okay, let's start with part one. Part one is dealing with Tesla service centers in British Columbia in order to get parts. So I've made videos about this on the channel. You can see here in the screenshot. I have one called Tesla Model 3, Tesla service for those who live far away from a service center, updated. Multiple videos on the channel. Go check those out. But I started off to find out what I can do to get this done. Now, let me start off by saying, okay, you get into an accident, someone hits you. The easiest thing to do is to just go through your insurance company and get it done. In this case, I wanted to avoid that for a number of reasons. First of all, the person who hit was someone close to the family. The other thing was I live far away from service centers, so essentially I would be having to drive the vehicle to a service center at least 8 hours one direction away, which means either I drive with 2 vehicles so that I can drop it off and then drive back in the other one, or I have to fly back or do something like that. Who knows how long it's going to take. Typically other people, it could be, weeks. All depends on parts availability, all that kind of thing. So it would have been a much more complicated, more expensive ordeal. So I wanted to see, can something as simple as this get done in my local town of Prince George, BC? And so that's kind of part one of this, was getting the parts. See, can I get the parts? And the short answer to that is, if you're dealing with the service centers in British Columbia, it's hit and miss. I kept getting stonewalled. They only wanted to deal with body shop approved places. I called other body shops around the province to find out what could be done. And it all boiled down to I'd have to drive the car like very far away, 8 hours away. No one was going to ship it here. I called the service center in Edmonton, and they were willing to work with me. It was a very simple thing. It's not like this is, high voltage or high amperage or anything like that. This is just getting a frunk. It's really simple, a simple part. And so They ended up shipping it to the body shop that I was working with here in Prince George. I arranged that with them, and you'll see the receipt there. They shipped it. The part with shipping to Prince George was just over $1,500 Canadian. So I was very impressed with that. The service they were willing to provide was excellent, and I was very impressed. And at this point, anybody in BC, I would highly recommend call Edmonton, Tesla Edmonton. Their parts counter, they're extremely helpful. Now, having said that, if you're a business, you can go to epc.tesla.com. It's electronic parts counter, I believe it stands for. And if you're a business, you just give them your tax information, and you can, for the most part, order more simple parts. If they're more complicated parts, then you have to get certified through Tesla for, like, the high voltage items and stuff like that. But anyways, so that was the first thing, was getting the parts. So I did end up getting them. There was some problems. The part got lost, so a number of weeks passed by. But eventually the part did come in. But the real delay was the body shop here in town. And I just think this is after COVID and everything. Body shops are taking a very long time to get stuff done. So by the time the part got to the body shop, it did arrive on the day I was supposed to get work done, which was cutting it close. But nonetheless, the body shop had to delay a month and a half. So this ended up going to somewhere around November 20th, and finally they were able to work on the part. So we'll move on to part 2. All right, guys, so part 2, once you are able to find parts that you need, the next thing you have to do is find a shop that's willing to work on the car. Now, that's been a problem up here in Prince George, because shops, all kinds of hassles dealing with Tesla. Mostly because the shops usually call Vancouver service centers, and they get all kinds of difficulties from there, saying, oh, you have to be certified for this and that. And to be clear, I ended up going with a shop called CSN Top Gun here in Prince George. They were willing to work on my Tesla, and they had worked on Teslas in the past, and they continue to work on Teslas, but they won't work on them if you have to go through insurance. And that's ICBC is our insurance company here in BC. Now, the reason for that is there's stringent requirements from ICBC that you have to be like certified in whatever the OEM says you have to be certified. And rightfully so, because some of the repairs, they might be structural, they might be safety issues, that kind of thing. So for example, CSN Top Gun, they're just wrapping up getting certification for Volkswagen, and it's costing them over $100,000 to get that training and certification and whatnot. Now, in order for them to put out money like that for Tesla, there has to be a lot of Teslas in this area. And of course, because we live so far away from service centers, and we also live in oil country and resources, logging, mining, and oil and all that kind of thing. People drive diesel trucks and all that, so there's less EV adoption here than, say, Vancouver. So this is the same kind of thing with replacing windshields. Getting all kinds of parts has been a challenge. So like I said, it's hit and miss. And with this body shop, they said as long as I don't need to go through insurance, in this case just paying out of pocket, didn't have to have that hassle. If I was going to go through insurance, because no body shops in town here are certified, it would have to be somewhere down in the lower mainland, 8 hours there, or towards Edmonton. Again, that's super difficult problem. So if you're able to source parts, get them here, and you're not going through insurance, then there might be options for you if you live far away from a service center. If you can A, acquire the parts, and B, find a shop that's willing to do the work. And that's what I did. So CSN Top Gun, they did work on it, and you'll see in the receipt here, they charged about just a little bit over $2,400 to paint the new frunk, remove the old damaged frunk, and install that newly painted frunk. And so all in all, the total worked out to under $5,000, and actually under $4,000 for just the frunk, and that's without the Tesla logo on there. And I think that's like $50. You can buy that from Tesla. I'm waiting because I'm going to get paint protection film, which I had on my original frunk. I'm going to get that done. But when you have a newly painted surface like this, you have to wait about 30 days for that paint to fully cure. So I'm going to finish off this work in January of 2024. I'm setting up an appointment with my local shop here to get that paint protection film on that frunk, and then I'll put the logo on top of that. So anyway, that's essentially been my service experience. Seems like you get different kinds of service depending on the service center that you call. The ones in BC that I've dealt with, they've been very difficult, not very customer service oriented, but the ones in, at least the one in Edmonton has been fantastic. They really want to work with you. They obviously are not going to cross the line if it's a safety issue, but if I want to get a battery, if I want to get a windshield, things like that, it shouldn't be difficult to do. But unfortunately, depending on the service center you deal with, it can be a problem. Anyways, in the end, I'm happy that I was able to resolve that, get the work done here locally in town, a lot less resource intensive and less wasted energy to get the car far away for such a simple task to get done. So anyway, I hope this video helps you guys out, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, so we just picked up our Tesla Model 3, or we are about to at CSN Top Gun. Here's the new hood. Looking very nice all around. We even cleaned up some of the dents on the sides there. Did a fabulous job. Thank you very much, CSN. Couldn't ask for a better job. Now this is the new frunk. Looking all good in here. Alright guys, so just get another video here because the other one with the GoPro was kind of dark. So here's the new frunk from CSN Top Gun. You can see where they sprayed and where they didn't, because this frunk comes, missed a spot right there, so you can see. Put this new latch on. Not a big deal under there though, to be honest. Whatever. This is all stuff you don't see under here. It's all just dust there on the sides, but we can see here all the scraping. And my PPF is still, I guess I'm blocking that. PPF is still safely installed on the other panels. And there was some denting here as well. And it looks like they kind of buffed it out and pulled the dent out. This was kind of pushed in on both sides. So it looks like they did a pretty good job there as well. You can see a little bit of scuffing on that PPF, but the PPF did protect the paint. So all in all, it was great. And you can see in there the latch, or whatever that's worth. But all in all, job well done. Let's close that frunk. There it is.